Okay. When authenticity dies, culture and everybody else dies along with it. A little bit at a time. A little bit inside every day in this society that pressures us to conform to a certain mindset, a certain narrative, a certain idea about what it means to be alive in today's world, to be a human. And to be authentic means that you often step outside the box. For a lot of people, being authentic means what everybody else does because that's authentic to them. But for some of us, from the heart, we feel like we have to express ourselves, and it comes across as sometimes arrogant or egotistical, but most often people are fearful of people who are different. As I decided, a perfect garb for making this video was my carp jacket, which I made. Since my name is Carpo, I ordered all of these carp patches. I made it like, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago maybe, but it's just covered with carp. And on the back, it's got these two carp and then a dead sticker, of course. But it also has these two patches one of my subscribers sent me. This is the OR patch, my last name, and U.S. Air Force, and then a Special Forces or Special Command patch. So I don't recall who sent me that, but every time I see it, I'm like, thank you. On my vest, I have a Bigfoot patch one of my subscribers sent me too. So all of those things. Hell, one of my subs even sent me some Dracula soil from Dracula's castle. It was a little novelty thing. It was awesome. And Kendra was her name, and she used to send me woofers, dog cookies as well. And that was the coolest thing. I was like, nobody's ever done that. But I was thinking about that. I'm trying to be authentic, and I meet a lot of authentic people, therefore, on here. And so what I wanted to talk about was how hard it is sometimes to remember who we are. I just made a video about judgment the other day, and I made one earlier today, um, which I uploaded. I just haven't made it public yet. Sometimes I don't, sometimes I do. It's not a controversial video or anything, but it's similar to this topic. But being authentic, that one's about me. The one I made earlier was about being misunderstood and how easy it is for us to be not have the language to express how we really feel about things. You know, like for example, it's too hot in here for this frickin' carp jacket. I'm taking it off. That's authentic right there. Oh man. So I've been out here in my office cleaning and organizing, getting ready to try to sell this house and move. And I've been finding a lot of things. I have these journals. I've got this little leather-bound journal that I use for taking notes when I'm out and about. I keep it in this bag up here usually. Got to put it back in there. So when I'm hiking around or traveling, I can just take notes of ideas I have. Then I've got this book right here, which is like I think I got this in like 2000. Bought this for, I've had to put duct tape on the spine. Duct tape is the best. But it's got everything from my different recipes for capsule blends from my kratom business for, ashwagandha amounts, costs, as well as recipes and podcast ideas, all kinds of shit. And it's still got several open pages, but I use it when I'm thinking about like passwords, crap like that. Then I've got this book. This is uh, my third journal. I should say it's my fourth. My first one I couldn't find. It's around here, but it's a little small one. I've had it since 1988. And I wrote in it every year. The first couple of years I wrote in it regularly, but then I would find it each year and be like, I'll just write one page of my thoughts of that year. And I've been doing it since like 1990 or something. And so it's interesting. It's an interesting journal. This one is called the Apocalypse Guide. And so it started in 2021, in the middle of that thing that happened. And it's kind of a joke. It's kind of a mock journal of how things are going downhill. And then there's this one, my Tree of Life leather journal, which I call it the Musings of Carpo, and I started this in 2016. So it's been 9 years, and it's got all kinds of things, everything that you could imagine. But it starts over every year, talks about different things that have happened. So my point here is, number one, if you don't keep a journal, it doesn't matter how old you are, keep one now. Start. Get something that means something to you. And whenever you see it, just write in it. I find myself, I'm getting ready to respond to the last post I made, which was about how I'd gone through all these experiences and that I was at the tail end of it. And now I'm thinking, like, 9 months later, no. You still carried that on for another 6 months, pushing your limits, which I did. I was doing some self-experimentation, let's just say, and took it a little too far. And I'll get into that one day when I'm ready to discuss it publicly, if I ever am. But for now, let's just say that I was going through some rabbit holes in my mind and surfing my subconscious, trying to figure out exactly who I am, where I come from, why I'm here, what I should be doing. I was really pushing the envelope, psychedelically and otherwise. And so I came back from it with this understanding about myself that I already had. This, okay, just a confirmation, just keep doing what you do. But this also means that I can't explain this to other people very well. My family, for example, I have kids and a wife. Um, I would love to be one of those go-getter types that just goes out and, makes a shitload of money so everybody's secure. But I can't do that because it's not my path. But if I could do it legitimately, of course I would be glad to have enough money to be content. Really, money is what it comes down to. It's the only thing that holds us back. Otherwise, we wouldn't worry about much, you know. And there are alternative forms of living, like I've looked at intentional communities. Yeah, they're interesting till you find out you get like a $78 budget, personal budget a month in this one I was looking at in like Virginia. I was just watching a video about it, and they're saying, yeah, it's all right, but you can't have your own car. You have to check out the car on the public list. This one had like 78 people in it. So, but it was interesting. The idea, this kind of idea of a larger community fascinates me, but I would love to do it on my own land. We went, my wife had to work today, so she sent me to look at a house, and it was not too far from here, like 25 minutes from where I live now. So it's doable. But it was on like 7.5 acres, and it was, not about the same size house as ours. But the problem was that the lot was too sloped, and it's very expensive of a house too. But there wasn't a lot you could do with the property. It looked like it was just too steep. I mean, I want a kind of place I can set up yurts and do kind of we found a place that had only a couple acres, but it was backed up to like hundreds of acres of BLM land, which would be awesome because usually that isn't sold very often, if at all. Most of the areas out here have been logged already. And every so often they'll come back and they'll take more out. And you can look that up to find out. But, that would suck. But you take that risk, I guess. At least you'd have a fire barrier. But anyway, back to authenticity. Just being yourself is hard. It really is. not worrying about what other people think about you is not what I'm talking about. You still should care. If you have family, friends, loved ones, you still have to bend your will a bit and compromise with other people. It's just part of life. But we can't drown out our true selves in the process. So, as long as we stand up for who we are and say no when we should, and um, it's damn hard to make decisions in today's world, not knowing where we're going. But anyway, that's another for another time. Ramble over. Peace out.